And that breaking news is in Israel. The night sky lit up by explosions over Tel Aviv as Iran launches missiles in retaliation. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Jesse Pagan.
And I'm Nancy Alvarez. A lot to get to. Those dramatic scenes began unfolding just after noon here in the United States. We have team coverage starting with WESH 2's Stuart Moore. Stuart.
Nancy and Jesse, the sounds of air raid sirens continue to fill the air across Israel. Israeli defense forces say Iran has launched dozens of ballistic missiles. The scenes of orange fire lit over the night sky over Israel, showing what appeared to be those missiles. Smaller streaks of light could also be seen, appearing to come from Israel's aerial defense system. Earlier today, U.S. officials warned that Iran was preparing an attack following a series of attacks by Israel in Lebanon against Hezbollah. One of those attacks killed Hezbollah's leader, Hassan Nasrallah. At this point, there are no reports of deaths directly related to this missile attack. NBC News reports that President Biden and Vice President Harris met with top national security officials before today's attack to discuss how the U.S. is prepared to help Israel defend against these types of attacks. Jesse and Nancy, back over to you.
All right, Stu, thank you. And our team coverage continues with WESH 2's Justin Shecker, who's been speaking with Jewish leaders across the state of Florida. And so, Justin, you have more on those conversations this afternoon.
Well, Nancy, this afternoon I spoke with Israel's top diplomat here in the state of Florida. He told me the local and international Jewish community has been on high alert since the October 7th terror attacks nearly 1 year ago. The Consul General of Israel, Miami, says today's attack should not be seen as Iran responding to the Israeli military taking out those top Hezbollah targets in Lebanon, but rather he says the barrage of rockets is part of the stated goal of Iran's leadership to destroy the state of Israel. On a personal level, like so many Israelis and American Jews here in Orlando and across Florida, he is concerned about family and friends living in Israel right now. I asked him how should the United States and Israel respond to this latest attack by Iran.
And in the end of the day, if the projection of power is not enough and doesn't stop them, then we have to use the power, and they will pay for everything that they have done and for everything that they are doing.
And in the past hour, the Orange County Sheriff's Office tells us deputies are aware the local Jewish and Muslim communities may be concerned about these developments over in the Middle East. Deputies say they have increased their presence in areas of religious significance, including synagogues, mosques, and schools. Their intelligence analysts and detectives are continuing to monitor this situation around the clock. And we should mention this Iranian attack on Israel comes the day before Rosh Hashanah, which is the start of the Jewish New Year. Reporting live in downtown Orlando, I'm Justin Shecker, WESH 2 News.
All right, Justin, thanks. And right now, members of the Palestinian community are reacting to the news in downtown Orlando.
They were already planning a news conference before the missile attack to mark what they call 1 year of genocide of the Palestinian people. WESH 2's Tony Atkins is live outside City Hall with their reaction. Tony?
Well, Jesse, those were members of the Florida Palestine Network. They gathered just moments ago here outside of City Hall to express how they feel about what has been going on over the past year. It wasn't many of them, but they definitely wanted to make sure that their voices were heard. I want to show you some video from that protest earlier today in a press conference. Now, they're calling for local, state, and federal officials to demand a ceasefire in this year-long conflict. The group says they're tired of the fighting, and with no ceasefire in sight, they are worried.
My newborn, in a world that seems so relentlessly hostile to Palestinians, I stand before you today to voice the deep pain and frustration that many of us feel in the face of the ongoing oppression. From Palestine to Lebanon, our blood, our struggles seem devalued in the eyes of the world.
And today kicks off what they call Orlando Palestine Week of Action. It started with today's press conference, and tomorrow they're going to host a teach-in, and then on Friday an art build, and Saturday around this time there will be a protest. And here is a live look at where that today's press conference was held. Obviously, it's going to be a long week of action as they continue to make their side heard as this conflict continues into the next year. I'm reporting live at City Hall. Tony Atkins, WESH 2 News.